Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and I'm just trying something a little different. Yes, this looks kind of like a selfie view of me, but I won't be here long. I'm going to flip my camera around in just a second because this is a video on my houseplants. So this is just a houseplant update. As you may know, I have moved into a new location and I'm still in the process of unpacking, and of course my houseplants came with me. So for the most part, everything survived the move because, as you know, if you own plants, whether indoor or outdoor, things like moving or transitioning them in any way, whether it be from to a larger pot or something as simple as that, or even moving to a different climate or location, that is considered stressful, or it can be considered stressful for a plant. So, luckily, I'm happy to report that pretty much everything that I brought with me has survived, and I'll show you a couple things that are um, kind of, I'm not going to say they're struggling, but they are recovering. And it's not really from the move, it was more of a mistake that I made. So I'll talk more about that when I get to those. But for the most part, everything is growing and actually doing very well. And one of the reasons I think it's because they are able to get lots of indirect sunlight. My new apartment, as you'll see in just a moment, has a beautiful windowsill that in my living room and dining room area, and so I have tons of room to sit my plants because most of my plants are smaller and they're in small pots or planters, so they can sit in the window and get direct light all day long as the sun's shining. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and flip it over to the plants so that you can see how my babies are doing. And I don't think I've purchased anything new since the last time I did a houseplant update. I didn't buy anything. I haven't bought anything since I've moved into this apartment, mainly because I'm still unpacking, but I literally do have a whole nother windowsill that I could fill up with plants. So I'm excited about that. All right, so here we are. As you can see, I have my blinds. I have big, beautiful windows here. And that's one of the things that I loved about my apartment is that it had all of this natural light in just the windows. And my view is nothing spectacular per se. It's the parking lot. Um, but just having the big windows and being able to get lots of light coming in, because it's evening now, so of course it's not a lot of sun, and as you can see on my window, it is raining. I was actually about to go out to do a curbside pickup at a place called BJ's. If you're not familiar with BJ's, it's kind of like a Sam's Club or Costco or whatnot. And I was about to pick up a shelf that I'm going to be using for my pantry. You'll see that in another vlog. But yeah, so it just started like downpour raining, so I decided why not do a houseplant update. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start here on the end. You guys remember my big snake plant here. It's still sitting on the same table that it was sitting on at my old apartment, just in a new location. They do not require the indirect sunlight to this extent, but this was just a good corner for it to sit in, and plus it's with all the other plants. But really I can move it around in my apartment, but I think it's a pretty good spot for it right now, and it seems to be doing well and loving the light that it gets. But again, snake plants can do fine in just like, with regular light in an office building or, house light or whatever. So they don't have to have like super indirect sunlight or be directly in a window or anything like that, because in my other apartment, it wasn't near a window at all. So just be aware of that if you're considering that. It's one of the easiest plants to take care of. You literally just water it once in a while, and by once in a while I mean like you can go months without watering this plant, especially in the winter time. In the summer I've seen people say like 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, but I've had this plant for probably a little over a year, and I've probably watered it 4 times in a year. And as you can see, it's perfectly fine. So I just pay attention to it just to see, especially now that it's in the sun, so it might get a little more light. But I watered it before I moved just to make sure. So I give it a good watering. So it should be fine for a while. But again, they're very forgiving and very easy going, easy to care for plants. The main way to kill them is to overwater them. So that's why I said You know, you can really, it's one of those plants that likes to be, give it a little attention and leave it alone. So highly recommend if you're new to the houseplant game or you just want to get in. And they're also really good for purifying the air. The snake plant as well as my Chinese evergreen, which I'll show you later on in the video. All right, so we've seen the snake plant, and now let's get over to the windowsill. This is actually perfect lighting for this video. So here we have what's called a nerve plant. I'll get a little closer so you can see it. It's green and either pink or red looking. Looks more red right now, but some of them I've seen look more pink on the pinkish side, but pink and green or pink and red, either way, it's a little colorful, which I like. They're actually really good outside, and you know, in the light they can grow to be very large. It's not technically a house plant, but I didn't know that when I purchased it because it was kind of in the section with the other plants, with other like house plants, and not like in the section where you would usually find like outdoor type plants. So, or like the kind you would put in the ground. So I have it, and it's okay. It's not, I wouldn't say it's living its best life, but it's also not dead. But they do like a lot of light. So I'm gonna do some more research on it and just see what I can do to try and make it as happy as possible on the inside, because I don't have anywhere outside. As you can see, I no longer have a balcony or outdoor space. Next to it is a golden pothos. As you may know, that's one of my favorite varieties of plants, especially pothos plants. And I have quite a few, you'll see throughout here. So just to show it off. And then one thing you'll notice is that the variation in the plant, even though it's the same species of plants, I have like 4 golden pothos, you'll see that the patterns and the color variation is different in all of them. Some have a little lighter, some are a little darker, and that goes for the green in the leaves as well as for the lighter spots, and they're all golden pothos. But that's why I love them. They're just big, kind of fluffy plants, full, like very full plants, and I like the way they look, and they're really easy to care for as well. All right, next to that is actually 2 of the same plants, and you might think, wow, they look interesting. And this one that looks like it's struggling really isn't. I just need to prop it up. It's so large, it can't support itself anymore, so that's why I need to fix that. But they are the same plant, and there's the purple waffle plant, so both of these. The one in the bigger pot I got first, and I have repotted it. The one in the white planter is still in this original container, and I just put it down in the white pot, and it has what we call the strings that can be used for wicking, so it's like a self-watering situation. So what I do when it needs water, and you will know when they need water because they essentially faint, as you may have heard people say before when the plants droop. So yeah, they essentially faint, and it can literally be looking like this, and then I'll look over an hour or 2 later and it's like completely sagging, and then I put some water in it, and in another hour it's back looking like this. So they're very interesting and temperamental plants, but this one is flourishing. Like, I had no idea it could get this fluffy and full, but it can. And I'm loving it. So as you can see, the green is on top, and then the bottom half of the leaf has the purple. The underside is like purple, so I'll try and get a good lighting angle. I know it may look more red on the camera, but it's purple, hence the name purple waffle. And it has that kind of crispy, crunchy leaf, and that's where it gets that waffle name. So the purple waffle plant, very interesting, unique plant. And again, my favorite color is purple, so it's a win-win situation for me. Let's see if I can lift it up here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you see these strings hanging down, those can be used for self-watering. So what I do is just pour water in the bottom of the vase, and then I sit it there, back down in there, and the strings actually draw up the water that the plants need. So that's why it's called self-watering, because it does its own thing. So I just refill it every few days or when it looks like it needs some water. And again, next to it is this one I had first, and like I said, it's large. Look at how big these leaves are. I love it. So I want to repot, and it's still giving me new growth because I want to see what it looks like. I didn't know that they got this big. I thought they were kind of a small, you know, that they grew kind of like this, where it's more bushy, but it's gotten leggy and long, and so I want to give it room to grow and see what it does. And next to it is a pepperonia, I believe, or peppercorn. Let me turn that around. So it's a golden. They call it a golden because it comes in varieties, kind of like the pothos. It is not a pothos. Its full name is golden. Yeah, it's a pepperonia. That is the name of it, and that's the golden variety because, again, the colors. I have seen some that are just solid green, and I, of course, like I've said before, I like things that are colorful or have that color variant in them, so that's why I picked this particular plant. And it's unique in that it looks and feels fake, because it feels almost rubbery to the touch, but it's a real plant, and it's also very low maintenance. One thing you'll notice about me is I like low maintenance plants. So most of my house plants are pretty chill, and they don't require anything more than just the occasional watering, or they're self-watering where all I have to do is just kind of pay attention and put water in there when it needs it. This is a somewhat new one. I had this one, but you may not have seen it as much because it was sitting on my counter before. I will probably get a hanging basket for this one because what you see it doing is what they usually do. They usually run and, you know, hang like that. So I want to give it, somebody, I guess whoever lived here before had something that was up there. Maybe they had a hanging basket, but there's already a little clip up here. And so I think I might use that and purchase a hanging basket and let this one grow that way. I think it'll be really pretty. And again, if you can see the colors, it's purple and green. This one also comes in other varieties. You can get an all green one, but I love the color variant, so I decided to get this one. And let me give you its official name. I'm not good with names. I just know the plants. They call it red heel, but it is a let me see if I can pronounce it correctly, but I'll show you the little stick here. It likes medium light, and it is a transcendentia, I think is how you say it. I'm horrible at that. That's the scientific name, not the regular name, but it's the red heel variety because of the coloring. So maybe I'm calling it purple, they're calling it red, whatever, it looks purple to me. But anyway, and I have seen them in all green, so I'm trying to let this focus so that you can see the name here. This is a plant that's its origin is Mexico, and again, it enjoys medium light. Most of my plants are exotic angel plants, as you can see on the tag there, and most of them came from Lowe's. I think I have one or two that came from Home Depot, and one that came from IKEA. Everything else is pretty much Lowe's. Lowe's home improvement stores where I get most of my plants from, as well as supplies such as soil. The planters, the small ones that are the white, kind of creamy white, and the blue ones like this, these came from Walmart, and I did a video about those in a previous video. All right, next to my trailing red heel here, we have on the back of these, if you buy them from those stores, they do have the little thing that tells you the type of light as well as how to care for them, at least the basics, such as how much light, how much water, the type of soil, what to expect for growth, how often to fertilize, and kind of the ideal temperature. So this, let me put that back in there. Here we go. So there's that plant. Walmart also carries that brand of plant, the Exotic Angel. So if you like that brand, you can get them at Walmart as well. At least mine do. And I know some other people in other states that say that. I'm in Northern Virginia, by the way, if people are wondering. This is another waffle plant, but this is the Snow White waffle plant. And as you may be able to tell already, its leaves are white and green and purple. So instead of the green and purple like the other two, the Snow White, obviously that's where its name came from, it has the white variant in there as well. So that's that one. Same situation. Everything else is pretty much the same in terms of, you know, the crispiness of the leaf, the two-tone, the multicolor, and then the watering. It will also faint when it needs water. Yeah. This is my little baby that I got. It was in like a cute little turkey planter, and then as it grew, I moved it into this planter, and it's just doing its thing. And I have seen it. It had blossoms on it when I purchased it. It was like the winter or the fall near the end. So I don't know when they actually bloom, but it can actually have little buds. So hopefully it'll give me some flowers in the fall. But super cute. The greenery seems to be continuing to grow, so you can see a lot of new growth there. All right, and next to it is another golden pothos. So as I mentioned before, I love those. So you'll see, just showing you the different variants there. Oh, there's a chair right there that I had to step over. I'm still unpacking, so everything is not where it needs to be. That chair is a dining chair that will be at the table, hopefully by this weekend. So yeah, there is my pothos. I just want to give you the look at the leaves and the colors because it's facing the window. I'm very happy there. And next to it, another golden pothos, which I aptly named Goldie. And Goldie has been repotted, so that's why some of them have and some of them haven't. The newer ones I didn't repot just because, one, they fit perfectly into these, and two, it made it so much easier to water because you can get, you know, they can self-water. Let's see, so another golden pothos. Same thing, just want to show you. You can see some new growth coming there. And next to it is, this is the Mandula pothos that I named Julie. Now, Julie is known for the white, more of a white look. So the green and white, which I like. And I thought it was very unique. However, they are very sensitive. So as you can see, this browning, they can burn, the white parts can burn very easily. And that was there. I don't think it's the sunlight. It can be sunburnt, but the other part, there are other pieces of the plant that aren't burning like that. So I think that's just some of the leaves just come in kind of funky. So I don't really know what to attribute it to, but like these are new and they're fine. But they also have less white on them. So I guess it's kind of like anything else. The lighter leaves, you know, it gives way to more risk for like burns and all of that. So I do have some copper spray in case it is a fungus that I might treat it with just to make sure. But it seems to be growing and, you know, it's okay other than those few spots because there are some perfectly fine leaves. So I'll just have to work on that one a little bit. Next to it is one of my proudest accomplishments here in my plant life. And that is the Brazil. So I'll just turn this around so you can see the name. Also in the pothos family. So this plant, just putting that back. I've told this story before. When I purchased this plant, it was like, you know, the others in the little containers like that. And it had like 3 or 4 little things on it. And when I replanted it, all of them died except for one leaf. So, and that one leaf was like thriving and healthy and everything. So I don't know what happened. It was like 1 minute it was fine, and the next minute they just slowly, like just one leaf after the other, just kept dying. So I decided to hold on to that one leaf and, you know, continue to care for it and see, because I could see there was a little sprout coming. I was like, let's see what it will do, and we'll look at what it's done. So I started with one leaf, and now I have quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 or 6 full, and then I have like 2 to 3 more coming in. So I'm very proud of this. It seems to be in a perfect spot, so I don't want to turn it around and disrupt the placement of it because it seems to be enjoying like facing the window that way in the sun and the angle. So I'm gonna not disturb it too much, but I'm really, really proud of this plant. Like, it's shown up and shown out. But just to look at a Brazil plant, if you've never seen it, again, the variation, this is known, it's kind of got the more of a neon green, which is a little different. But again, that's what attracted me to it. I was trying to get another variety, and I like it. And the leaves are a little different than the pothos. And again, right next to the Brazil is another golden pothos, but this is my OG one. This was the first one I purchased, and what kind of got me hooked. Probably if I would have purchased these earlier in my plant game, I'd probably just have a windowsill full of pothos. Let me back up so it will focus a little better. So again, just the golden pothos, you can see how it varies in color from its, you know, counterparts. There's another golden, and then the other golden I showed you earlier. Just this one little brown spot here. The rest of the plant seems healthy. I haven't seen any more spots, and I do see a lot of new growth going on. And this little random white spot, you trying to be a Mandula? over there. Which sometimes that's something to watch out for. Not in a bad way, but just know that sometimes, especially when you're buying from stores like, Home Depot and Walmart and all those places, Lowe's, sometimes plants get mixed up. So you might end up picking up one thing and thinking, oh, I got a golden pothos. And it may be a golden pothos, but maybe some kind of way a mandula got mixed in, or something else in some way might be a part stem of a mandula or something. So, if you see something growing and it looks different, or it looks like it could be something else, it really might be, just because that can happen. And it's not anything bad, because people usually plant these together sometimes. So like you can put, a golden pothos and a mandula together or whatnot, just so long as they require kind of the same treatment in terms of the type of soil they like, type of lighting and all that. As long as they're compatible there, you can mix them. And I've seen people do beautiful arrangements, combining them, especially because of all the variations. So it's no harm in that. It's just know you might get a little surprised sometimes. All right, so here on the end and kind of hiding behind my bookcase, just because the end of the windowsill, is my 2 aloe plants. Before I moved, they were thriving. They were doing well. The way that they're, all over the place, that's just how they are, how aloe plants do. So that's nothing new. But if you can notice, like you can see, especially on the one over here, you see like a kind of reddish brown. When I first got these, I set them in my other windowsill, which I'll show you because I have a couple plants over there. And it was kind of not directly under a vent, but the air from the vent was still kind of blowing on them. So even though they were getting a lot of light, they were also getting hit with air, like the AC air, quite frequently and for long periods of time. So I think I kind of sort of froze them out a little bit, because they used to be really thick. And like when I would squeeze these, this would be like, squishy and fat with the aloe, but they're a little thinner now. So, and I moved them over here, so there's no vent, this whole window, so there's no vent over here or under here or nothing, so they're not getting any extra air going directly on them. And this one definitely seems to have perked up, and it seems to be recovering. I'm still concerned about the little one, but now that I look at it, it's looking better. That one over here, this might be too far gone, but we'll see, because they can change colors sometimes a little bit. But so I'll just keep an eye on them. But I did water them a little bit because they don't like a lot of water. But they seem to be kind of coming back to their own. But they were like a pretty luscious green before I moved, so hopefully I didn't destroy them and they'll forgive me and come back. All right, so in just a moment, I'm going to walk you over to my other window seat. All right, so I made it to the other side of the window. So if you look, those are my other plants. Then there's the bookcase. And I should just be able to walk right around that corner, but because I have that rocking chair there with stuff that still needs to get put away, I had to take the long way, which is back around the front part of my sofa, all the way around here. Yes, I still have a lot of boxes to get to the dining room, which is where the next set of windows are, as you can see. So right now, these are the last 3 plants I have. Again, all originals from before, nothing new. You see my dear old, another snake plant. This one has a lighter variant, more of a kind of yellowish neon variant on it, whereas my bigger one is a darker green with like kind of a dark and light variant. So that's why I got this one. Not quite as large as the other one, but still a decent sized plant. And I aptly named it Sandy, after a scientific name. Here we have the bicolor marginata plant. And it looks like it actually gave me a second sprout there, as you can see, because there's the base of one, and then there's the second one over here. And it's called that because they do grow like all green, but this one has the red. So again, you know how I am about my colors. And you can see, really, since I've moved here and it's been in the light like this, the red has really come through. So you can see the red coming through quite a bit. So it looks really pink to me right now, but the reddish pink, that's supposed to be there, and that's why it's a bicolor. And like I said, they do have them where they're just all green, but I really like that. And if that stays pink looking more than red, and maybe it's just the lighting, I'm here for it either way. It looks really cool. It almost looks neon. And last but not least, although it looks tragic, it's actually doing okay, is the polka dot plant. And by okay, I mean it's not dead or dying. It just needs support. It's actually giving me a lot of new growth. This is a polka dot plant. It's green with pink spots or polka dots. And this is actually 2 stems. They're just tangled right now. The taller one won't stay standing, and really it kind of grows, if you look at the picture, more like a bush. So I need to repot it and give it a better situation. But it's a pretty plant, and this one actually did come from Home Depot, because I haven't seen it at Lowe's yet, or I had not seen it at Lowe's. So I got it, and I like it. I just need to stop being lazy and repot it so that it can grow in a healthier manner. But other than that, it's doing okay. All right, guys, so that is my, oh, there's one more, or 2 more actually. I will take you on a little tour of my apartment, which hopefully will look better soon. There's my Chinese evergreen. Let me get some light here. All right, this is not where it's gonna be permanently. It will probably end up closer to, not in the window, but on that kind of pole next to my, or a little bit of wall that comes out next to my bookcase. It'll be there. It does not require sunlight either, so it's fine indoor. It actually loves indoor, like fluorescent light. So this is the Chinese evergreen. This is the they come in varieties as well. I chose this one, as you may already know now, because it's red, or because it has the red in it. You can get them all green. You can get them green with the lighter variants in them, kind of like some of the pothos. So you can get them in a variety of colors, and I may look for, I did see a pretty cool one on another vlog that was like the dark green and the light green, the really light, where it's almost like lime green. So I'm, or more like a white, more like light green, almost like a light whitish green. Might get that if I can find it, because it was really cool. I like the way that looked. But this one's one of my first house plants, along with the big snake plant, and it's been doing well. I need to, probably it's about time to give it some fertilizer. I've had it for a little over a year, and it's also one of those very forgiving, easy to grow, harder to kill house plants. And it's still one of my favorites, not just in the looks, but I just love it, and that's why I bought it. Like I walked past it a few times in the store because it was like $30 at Lowe's, and mainly because of the size. And I just kept walking back and forth, thinking about it, and I said, nope, I'm just gonna get this plant, and I'm really happy that I did. So I want to zoom in just so you can see the older leaves are bigger, and then you can see there's a lot of new growth happening. Actually, that's a new one. Let me kind of get this angle, because like this is a leaf, and then that's a folded, like that's a new one coming in. This one's relatively new. Like the ones that are a little lighter and smaller, those are newer leaves, and then the older leaves are of course larger like this. So like all of that's relatively new. You can tell from the size difference, but it's a beautiful plant. Like I love it. I hope the camera's doing it justice. All right, and last but certainly not least is my ZZ plant. And you can see that ZZ plant, this came from IKEA, and it doesn't require a lot of light or water, but there is water in the bottom. And it is a real plant, and it's enjoying its life up there. I may reposition it later, but I kind of like where it is up there with the other decor that I have going on. That's my internet right there. All right, so thank you all for watching. I'm gonna put my arms back down now. But thank you all for watching my houseplant update. Everything seems to be thriving. I think the only plant that didn't come over from the other apartment was Rex, because Rex just died on me after a while. We had been doing so well, and then he just left me. So other than that, everything else I think made it over, and made it over successfully. Like I said, the aloe, that was more of a thing on me, but everything else I think did really well. So I may, once I get everything unpacked and get settled and kind of see how everything will be set up, I may start plant shopping again, and I'll be able to give you more updates. But until then, thank you for watching, and please make sure that you like and subscribe for more plant updates, or just to see other things that I'm doing here on my channel. See you next time.